Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Vittorio Angelone.
You're very nice. You're very nice. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. This is very exciting, recording my first ever special of my award-nominated show. Really fucking cool. It's very nice. Some of you very excited about that. Some of you really not impressed at all, which is good. No, I got nominated for an award at the Edinburgh Fringe. If you didn't know that, that's where I got nominated for an award. And I wasn't expecting to get nominated for an award. I was expecting to win. And no, I wasn't expecting to get nominated because the Edinburgh Fringe is an interesting place. Like, has anyone here been to the Edinburgh Fringe before? No one. One guy going, me. And who's never been to the Edinburgh Fringe? See how much happier they are? It's a fucking terrible place. None of us should ever go there. It's a weird place. And before I went up, I was looking at the types of shows that normally get nominated for awards, right? And they're interesting stand-up comedy shows. Because they're sad. They're so sad. The comedian gets on stage and goes, these are my problems. And I think that you should care about them. And everyone's like, I guess. Maybe, but probably not. They'll be like, you don't really fucking care. It's strange, and they kind of follow this little formula where like 40 minutes in, there's a really sad bit. They're all the same. 40 minutes in, there's a really sad bit where somebody dies. And it's normally the comedian's dad. But my dad's still alive. So I didn't know what to do before the Fringe. I was like, do I have to murder my father to try and get nominated for an award? Carlo would have taken him up for the team. He doesn't give a fuck. So I don't know how to do any of that. I don't know how to do a 40-minute sad bit. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm just going to tell you a story. Because a few years ago, I went to see a play. Because I'm gay. No, I'm not gay. But going to see plays is gay. And if you don't think that's right, you're wrong. Imagine how that went down in Brighton. Terrible. So bad. But fun for me, and that's what it's all about, really. No, I'm only joking. Of course, some people in here have probably been to see plays, and congratulations on coming out. That's really cool. I'm an ally. No, I'm only joking. I went to see a play called Translations. There's a little script over here. I went to see it at the National Theatre in London, the Olivier Theatre. It's this massive 1,000-seat theatre, very similar to this. You're not allowed to go for a piss there either. It was incredible, and it was me and kind of all these very posh English people watching this incredible piece of Irish theatre by Brian Friel. And the play's set in a place called Ballybeg, which is a fictional town in the real county of Donegal in Ireland. And Donegal, if you don't know, is the northernmost county in Ireland, but it's not in Northern Ireland. Any questions at this juncture? Confuses people sometimes. And the play is set in this little hedge school, and the play is largely about what it is to be Irish in the context of English people. And I live in London now, and my show is about what it is to be Irish. I am aware that my name's Vittorio Angelone. So it would be weirder for the next hour. I was like, guys, what's the deal with being Irish? Isn't it fucking crazy? I'm Irish. That's mad, isn't it? What's going on there? Anyway, I've been Vittorio Angelone. I'll see you later on. I'm from Belfast. That's what this noise is. But I am half Italian. That's why I'm called Vittorio Angelone. So I come from an immigrant background. That gets a round of applause in London. I know, don't worry. It was a joke. There'll be jokes throughout. Keep your eyes out as best you can. I grew up in Belfast, half Italian. My family had to move away from Italy during World War II to get away from all the bombs and violence. So they moved to Belfast. Good work, team. Out of the frying pan, into the IRA. It's fucking good stuff. So that's the Italian stuff, but the show's about me being Irish, really. Now, I'll tell you a few things that happen in the play. The play's in 3 acts. And the first act opens in this little hedge school. Hedge schools are interesting things because at that time in Ireland, the British Empire controlled the schooling system. So Irish people, if they wanted to learn stuff they wanted to learn, like the Irish language or classics like Greek mythology, they had to set up their own little specialist schools called hedge schools, and they were little rebellious things. And we open the play in this hedge school, and we meet a character called Sarah and a character called Manus. It becomes very evident very quickly that Sarah is mute. She doesn't know how to talk. And Manus is trying to teach her how to say her own name. He's trying to teach her how to say, my name is Sarah. Very tense opening to a show, 1,000-seat theatre. Sarah's there going, my name. I was like, she's shit at acting. Can we... What? It's one fucking line. Say it. What happens next? But I understand Sarah's difficulty in pronouncing her own name, because like we discussed, my name is Vittorio Angelone. And that's not how you're supposed to say that. It shouldn't be in a Belfast accent. There's no one in Naples going, Vittorio Angelone. That's not right. But I can't say it right. Do you know what I mean? Like, I physically can, but it would be fucking stupid. If I came on stage and was like, what's the crack? How's it going? My name is Vittorio Angelone. It's like, and my hand just does that for some reason. I can't stop that from happening. Sounds like a fucking Dolmio ad. It's fun being called Vittorio Angelone doing stand-up. There's often a compere at comedy clubs, and they welcome all the acts to the stage. And I do that job quite a lot, and I always take extra special care to make sure I pronounce everyone's name correctly. I think that's the kind thing to do. I'm not afforded the same kindness by my colleagues. They fuck it up so much that I've had to pre-record me welcoming me to the stage for the start of the show, because I don't trust anyone anymore. Welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone. It's not that hard. One time a guy went, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vittorio Angelone. Which isn't right. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. One time a guy went, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Vincenzo Alabaluzzi. Which isn't a name in any language. I Googled it, there's no Alabaluzzis anywhere. But neither of those are my favorite. My favorite is a guy who brought me to the stage, tried to pronounce my name, and gave up in the middle. Because he went, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Valentino, fuck. Which I thought was quite honest of him on some level. I kind of appreciated it. I didn't get called Vittorio growing up in primary school. Belfast's a very good place for nicknames. I had a nickname in primary school because in primary school, I had a lot of struggles with anxiety attacks. Do you know what they called me? Panicking Skywalker. Which is just great bullying. You gotta respect it. That's top level work. It's actually only the third worst nickname I've ever heard from Belfast. Number 2, there was a guy in my class called Donal. And do you know when you were younger and your mum used to cut your hair? Not a lot of poor people in, don't worry about it, that's fine. Basically, Donal's mum was doing the buzzer up the back, and she accidentally went too high. So she had to give him a full skinhead, like bald. Do you know what we called him for 10 years? Shmuel. You know, like out of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. That's a bit much for some people in the audience. My primary school was fine with it. Even the teachers in the register were like, Shmuel, here, okay, he's fine. That's true, he's a dentist now. He puts the gold fillings into people's teeth. If you're upset about that joke, I think you're right. I think it's good that you're upset. That's probably a good thing that you're upset. It is funny that you're upset. Because it is number 2 on the list. Number 1's my dad. The worst nickname I've ever heard is my dad. My dad grew up in Belfast, but he is Italian. Do you know what my dad got called in primary school? My dad got called the N-word because he was the darkest person anyone had ever seen. Don't know if you can tell by my face, but he's a white man. Puts my dad in a very strange situation, though, because he got called the N-word for a long portion of his life. So he thinks he can say it. He's like, I'm reclaiming it. I don't think you are, Dad. It's good you're laughing. All your dads think they can say it as well. At least mine has an excuse, you know? And my dad doesn't think he can say the N-word anymore. It's like my dad's listening to hip-hop, like, she take my money. Like, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing. No, my dad doesn't like hip-hop. I like hip-hop. We have arguments sometimes, me and my dad, but I think he's starting to win the argument because hip-hop confuses me. Every hip-hop song now just seems to have a voicemail in the middle of it. Right in the middle of the song. It'll just be like, hi, Kendrick, it's your mom. Just leaving you this message to say, keep striving for greatness and always believe. Where's Kendrick Lamar getting all these inspirational voicemails from? You know, if I put my voicemail on a song, do you know what it would sound like? Oh, fuck, sorry. And that's all they ever are. You can't make hip-hop out of that, unfortunately. I do admire racists in Northern Ireland. It's good to have heroes, no? I just admire people that have tough jobs. That's a tough job. Being a racist in Northern Ireland, it's such a white place that they have nowhere to put their racism. So they saw my slightly tan dad and were like, that'll do, we're in, we're doing it. It's such a white, Northern Ireland is such a white place. And people don't believe me. It fucking is. It's, just ask Liam Neeson. If you don't remember what I'm talking about, Liam Neeson on TV, in an interview, decided to tell a little story. He told the story about how his friend had been assaulted by a black man in Northern Ireland. And in his very Liam Neeson way, he went, so I got a bat. And I walked through the streets of Northern Ireland for 2 weeks trying to find some black bastard to beat the shit out of. Liam Neeson tried to find a black guy to beat up for 2 weeks and couldn't. That's incredible. And he just ran out of racism. After 2 weeks, he was like, they're fine, I guess. Because he had no one to be racist to. And I think that's the solution to racism. Just get rid of them. No, you can't clap that, actually. Please don't. I'm very sorry. I'll move on. The next character meeting the play is a character called Jimmy. Jimmy's a very, very old guy, and he's very, very mad. And you know when someone's so old that they're insane? But everyone's like, nah, that's Jimmy. He's old. Just lets him away with it. Like all the people in this school are learning really, really cool stuff, like the Irish language and classics like Greek mythology. And Jimmy's just sat there in his rocking chair, steaming. And I swear to God, his first line in the play is, say if you had to have sex with one of the mythical goddesses, would it be Athena or Artemis? I was there like, surely Venus, she wouldn't have hairy legs. No, that's a joke and a half, actually. And you can fuck off. That's the best joke in the show. That's an award-nominated joke. How dare you not laugh at that? This is on camera. Go fuck yourselves. Your design. Fuck you, actually. I'm unhappy. We're using the Late Show. Fuck you. But I love mad old people. I love mad old people because I'm related to mad old people. All my grandparents are insane. The Italian ones, we call them Nonno and Nonna. And they're brilliant. They're wonderful people. But Nonna is clinically mad. Like, do you remember that Oscars thing where Will Smith got up, slapped Chris Rock in the face because Chris Rock was making fun of Jada Pinkett Smith for being bald as fuck? And people got very angry at Chris Rock. I saw them online. They were like, actually, she's got alopecia. And it's a very serious condition, and you shouldn't make jokes about it because it's called alopecia, and it's very serious. It's just tweets, but that's what they sound like in my head. That confused me. Because my uncle has alopecia, and we make fun of that guy all the time. He is bald, bald, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, the baldest man in the world. And every time his name comes up in conversation, my nana goes, lovely hair. Should I have to slap her? Is that the protocol? She's 89 years old. Like, keep my uncle's name out your fucking mouth. But Nana's an incredible woman. She grew up in Italy until she was 13, then moved over to Ireland as a refugee on a boat all by herself. She moved over, she lived there for like 20 years, then moved over to Florida, ran a motel over there for like 30 years, and now lives back in West Belfast. So her accent is the maddest thing you've ever heard in your whole life. She's like, what's the crack? How's it going, buddy? I was around visiting her recently. It was nice, but she's got this real dark sense of humor. I was like, all right, Nana, how's it going? She was like, oh, Vittorio, have you lost weight? I was like, no, actually, I think I've put on a few pounds. And she went, yeah, I thought so. That's the Italian side. The Irish grandparents, they were called Betty and John, but everyone called John Pappy, so Betty and Pappy. And they passed away a few years ago, but towards the end, they were completely away with the fairies. Or as my uncle would say, they didn't know whether it was Tuesday or August. So we would help them out around the house. And I was around helping out with dinner one time, but I was only 17, so I wasn't doing proper dinner. I was just reheating leftovers in the microwave, right? And I'm in the kitchen, there in the living room. I can't see them, but I can like call through to the living room where they're sat in their individual armchairs, like out of the opening sequence of Up. It's very nice. I'm in the kitchen, right? And I call through to Betty and Pappy. I go, Betty, do you want your dinner heated up in the microwave? And there's no answer. I was like, she's pretty old. She probably just didn't hear me. I'll call through again a little bit louder. It'll be grand. Betty, do you want your dinner heated up in the microwave? And there's no answer. And I started to get stressed because if she's dead, I'm in so much trouble. So I called through again, but like fucking loud. Like, Betty! Do you want your dinner heated up in the microwave? Please? And there was no answer. But all I heard from the living room was Pappy go, woman, do you want your food in the computer? Which I think is the funniest thing anyone's ever said. I'm a professional comedian and I'm never gonna beat that. It's so annoying. That's the end of Act 1 of the play. Act 2, we meet a character called Owen. Owen's a character I relate to a lot in the play, because Owen's an Irish character, but he moved away to England, and now he's back in his own hometown, but he feels like a bit of an outsider in his own hometown just because he's moved away. He feels like people treat him a little bit differently. And I grew up in Belfast, moved over to London, and sometimes when I'm back in Belfast, I feel like people don't treat me the same. I feel like it's very strange, it's very confusing. It's less confusing for Owen, because he moved away to join the British Army. And then he brought them back with him to his own hometown. And he's there like, why is everyone being mean to me? I'll give you one guess, Owen. But Owen brings all these English characters over. It's because they're doing an ordnance survey. They're renaming all the place names from the original Irish into English. And all the Irish characters in the play, they only speak Irish. And all the English characters, they only speak English. And Owen's one of the only characters that speaks both. All the actors on stage are speaking English the whole time, because otherwise you couldn't put it on anywhere. But it's very cleverly written, so you always know who's understanding who and who needs to be translated. Hence the play is called Translations. And the Irish language, English language thing, it's a very big thing in the play. It's quite a big thing in the show. And I need to tell you a little story about a woman in the front row at Vauxhall Comedy Club when I did a work in progress of this show in London. A woman in the front row, about 35 minutes in, so a good bit further into the show, a woman in the front row of Vauxhall Comedy Club kind of went, which is worse than heckling. Can we agree? Because if you heckle, you're being a dick. But if you put your hand up, it's like, can I be a dick, please? It's not polite. So I tried to just do the show around her and ignore her, but she had great defense. She was like, Dennis Rodman. I was like locking me down for the game. So I was like, okay, what? How can I help? What's going on? And she goes, I didn't think that Irish was a language. Wait. I thought it was just an accent. Wait. Like Scottish. Where do you start with that? Because every word in that sentence is wrong. Actually, every word in that sentence is more wrong than the word that came before it. It's incredible. Because sometimes stand-up comedy is difficult. Sometimes you've had a bad day. You still have to come on stage, try and make people laugh. What about when 35 minutes into the show, you're consumed with fury? Took everything I had not to boot that woman in the face. The spirit of Eric Cantona was just like in me. I was like, you fucking... No. So if you didn't know that Irish is a language, thank you for coming. It is. And if you already knew that, I'm sorry we had to take that little detour. We're only as fast as our slowest audience member. So Owen brings all these English characters over, and it's a lot of the Irish characters' very first time meeting English people. And do we have English people in? Slightly too enthusiastic, that's okay. It's also a tricky thing to ask in Liverpool. Because some of you are like, no. I've seen your stupid little t-shirts. I get it. It's fine. So if you want to identify as English for the rest of the show, if you don't, that's fine, whatever. The thing is, the problem with English people... The problem with English people is that they think they're factory default. You know what I mean? They're like, there's English, and then everybody else is so weird. That's because you grow up with English people, you don't know anything different, and they're on TV, you just think that's normal. When you've never met English people before, and you meet them for the first time, I'm here to tell you that you guys are fucking freaks. You're spooky, and I'm done pretending I enjoy your company, right? What are you on about ever? And I moved to London at the age of 18 to study classical music at a music college. So I met the Englishest of English people of all time. Like if you cross Benedict Cumberbatch with a crumpet, like that's who I was dealing with. I remember moving over. I was very, very stressed, very upset about moving away from Belfast and moving in with all these English people. I was unpacking in residential halls, and my mum was there, and she was trying to talk me down from this emotional height. She was like, listen, Vittorio, they're not all bastards. They just talk like that. I was like, no, they're fucking dickheads, man. They think I'm drunk, they think I'm lazy, they think I'm stupid just because of my accent. I'm fucking sick of English people. It's day one in England, and I've got them sussed. I'm sick of it. I want to go home. She was like, no, they don't think any of those things. You're being silly. You're just getting stressed about moving away, and you're trying to come up with excuses to get away with it. You're stressed about moving away. You're coming up with excuses, right? I was like, oh, fuck's sake. She was like, you've got 6 new flatmates. I'm sure they're lovely. Go into the kitchen, introduce yourself, give them a chance. I was like, okay, I'll give them a chance. Went down to the kitchen, introduced myself, and first person I met was a girl called Eva, and Eva was one of my flatmates in first year, and she studied at a secondary school called the Purcell School, which is a specialist music secondary school. There's a few of them around the country, and most people that go to specialist music secondary schools end up at music college. So it's not like normal unis, where everyone arrives, you're all strangers, you're just trying to figure out what your friendship group's going to be for the next 3 or 4 years. They arrive in pre-made cliques with the dorkiest in-jokes you've ever heard in your whole life, and you have to just pretend it's cool when you arrive. I walked in, I was like, oh, Eva, what should we do tonight? And she went, I tell you what we should do. We should play this game that we played at the Purcell School. It's a drinking game where you listen to Mozart, and you drink every time it changes key. I was like, or we could all jump out the window. Because that sounds equally fun to me. I didn't actually say that. I didn't say anything. I just stood up, left the kitchen, phoned my mum, like, you lied, they're all bastards, actually. She was like, no, you just met a weird one. Go down to the bar. It's the first night of Freshers Week. Give them another chance. Introduce yourself to English people. I was like, okay, I'll give them another chance. Went down to the bar, tried to introduce myself to English people, tried to give them a chance. Walked up to an English guy. I was like, all right, mate, what's the crack? That was a mistake. Because when you say, what's the crack to English people, you guys freak out. You do this double take that's also like something out of the film Predator. I'm like, what's the crack? And they're like, oh my God. Are you Irish? Oh my God. I'm Irish? Because you don't want to say, no, you're not. Because obviously I live in England, and if and when I have kids, they'll probably have English accents. See if they ever come up to me like, oh, Daddy, I'm English. I'll kick them in the face. So I get it. But you keep going through, you find out all these mad English traditions. They're like, oh my God, it's bonfire night. I'm like, what's bonfire night? Because we don't have bonfire night in Belfast. We do. It's just not in November. And it's a different vibe, I think. I think Ross Kemp goes to your one slightly less often. So I was like, what's bonfire night? They're like, oh my God, it's great. We have fireworks. I'm like, why do you have fireworks? So there was this guy, cold guy, and he tried to blow up Parliament. So every year we're like, woohoo! Because we killed him. What? No, listen, no. All I'm saying is I'm from Belfast. If you're putting on celebrations for people trying to blow up London, when's my night? They find out you're from Belfast, they always ask the same question, like, oh my God, you're from Belfast. What is all the fuss about? Fuss is an interesting word to use for civil war. No, what is the difference between Catholics and Protestants? I'm like, Protestants, icebreakers? No. Because they're natural predators. Realistically, it all comes down to transubstantiation. If you don't know what that means, basically means that Catholics genuinely believe that the bread and wine turns into the body and blood of Jesus Christ. And Protestants genuinely believe that Rangers are going to win the league. But I like English people sometimes. I think English people make me laugh quite a lot. Past 5 or 6 years, English people have really started making me laugh. They started saying a really funny thing. In the past 5 or 6 years, English people have started complaining about living in a divided country. Did I not say that right? That is hysterical. It's so difficult living in such a divided country. Do you know what you guys did? Everywhere? Do you know how many whatever the fuckistans there are? You went round the world drawing random lines through everyone else's country, and you have one referendum. You're like, this is tricky. This is tricky. But I get what people mean when they say we live in a very divided society. Maybe not England in particular, but broadly, everyone's on the opposite end of every argument. Everyone's just shouting at each other, whether it's vax and anti-vax or Brexit and Remain. No one's agreeing on it, and everyone's just shouting at each other. I think that's really, really sad. Everyone's become so polarized. A few years ago, when I was back in school, we would just agree on anything. It was great. Just agreed on complete nonsense. I think that's better, because at least we agreed on something. We should all just pick something that doesn't exist. We all know it doesn't exist. It's fucking bullshit, and just believe in it. Some people call it religion, but I just think it's better. But we were brilliant at it in school. We would agree on anything in school. Do you remember going on school trips and the boys at the back would get on the bus? Do you remember the boys at the back? That was aspirational. All I ever wanted to be was a boy at the back of the bus. Those are my career goals at one point. It's like, one day I'll be a boy at the back of the bus. And fun fact, boys at the back, they grew up to be lads, lads, lads. And boys at the front, they grew up to be Louis Theroux. But the boys at the back, they ran the show because they could see everyone. They were throwing Maltesers at people, rolling bottles of piss down the aisle. We might have had different school experiences. Boys at the back would get on the bus and they would say this little phrase. Different places in the UK have different phrases for it. But I think you'll recognize it. In Belfast, they would say a phrase that went, same seats on the way back. Do you remember same seats on the way back? Basically means wherever you're sat on the bus on the way to the school trip, on the way back, you'll be sat in that seat. It makes sense, right? boys at the back would get on and go, same seats on the way back. And everyone else would go, yeah, fine. Why did we all agree to that? It doesn't make any fucking sense. They just shouted something. It wasn't written down anywhere. But it's nice. We agreed. I think that's lovely. I miss same seats on the way back. I miss it. It's not like you can't say it anymore. It just doesn't work. I was on the bus yesterday. I got on. I was like, same seats on the way back. And the driver was like, yeah, I'll probably sit here on the way back as well. I think same seats on the way back is a good analogy for colonial history. Bear with me. I think if you imagine, like 400 years ago, every country in the world went on a school trip. Every country in the world had to get on the bus. 400 years ago, who are the boys at the back? England. Killing it. Maltesers, piss, the whole thing, right? And now we've been on our school trip. A couple hundred years have passed. Maybe we learned some lessons. Got a little bit educated. We're getting on the bus to go back from the school trip. And the boys at the back, England, get on. And someone sat in their seat. And you guys aren't happy about it. You're like, we called same seats on the way back, actually. And every other country's like, I think you'll find you voted to have your own bus. And your bus is just a Mini Cooper with flat tires. No, that's mean. Your country's fucked. The next character meeting in the play is a character called George. George is one of the English soldiers in the play, but he's probably the nicest of all the English soldiers, which is a real tallest dwarf situation. People always tense up at that. I don't know why. Is it because I say dwarf? Should I keep saying dwarf? I shouldn't keep saying dwarf, should I? I can't stop. Anyway, George is there and he's working with Owen to try and rename all these place names. And they're researching the cultural context of what they're called in Irish and why they're called that in Irish and how best to represent that in English. And George gets very upset. He goes, oh, I don't think this is right. This feels problematic. It feels like when we wipe this language off the map, we're wiping a culture off the map. And I don't think that's good. I think that's bad. And then he does nothing about it for the rest of the play. It's an incredible character arc. He walks on stage and goes, whoa, this is bad. I'm a good person. See you later. Job done. Bye-bye. But I get it. You know, we all want to be good people. I want to be a good person, but it's hard to be a good person nowadays because we know all the bad things that are happening around the world because of the internet. So you can't play an active role in solving every single bad thing. We're filming. You can't play an active role in solving every single bad thing that happens in the world. So what do? We just fucking tweet. We're just like, oh my God, this is bad. Have you seen how bad this is? Hashtag bad. Laptop closed, I'm a good person, job done, see you later. I think you're not a good person, you just called the Dalai Lama a pedophile. I feel bad about that joke, you know, the Dalai Lama thing. Because everyone thinks the Dalai Lama's a pedophile now. It's terrible, just because he asked a young boy to suck his tongue. That's terrible stuff. But I actually researched it, and I do feel bad because I don't think he's a pedophile. It's a thing. I researched it. It comes from like this old Tibetan tradition. It's like a cultural thing. It's this old Tibetan tradition where they fuck kids. It's so stupid. I agree. It's hard, you know, trying to be a good person, especially online. Like, everyone expects you to be woke. You know this word woke? Like, socially aware, professionally offended, sexually unfulfilled. Like, it's hard. But I'm trying to be woke. You have to be woke when you move to London. I started reading Stonewall, which is the LGBTQ website. It's got all these articles. I saw this article. It was the top 5 LGBT employers of 2023. I was like, that's interesting. I'll give it a read. Do you know what number 3 was? MI5. And I don't want to stereotype, right? But the gay people I know aren't very good at keeping secrets. Like, where's the money, right? But you can't tell anyone, okay? This goes no further. I make a lot of jokes about my time living in England and my uni life, but my uni life was good despite all the English people. It was good. Actually, the negative bits of my uni life were caused by a girl from Belfast because she dumped me 3 times. But you know what they say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Dump me on Christmas Eve. You're a cunt. That happened. I posted a little video of that joke on my Instagram, and she liked it. And I had a panic attack. It's very stressful. It's just a joke. I make all sorts of jokes, you know? I make jokes about stuff that I do care about. It was a good relationship. It meant a lot to me. We were together from when I was 16 till I was 20. It was a good relationship, really formative relationship. It was a good relationship. I took her to the zoo once. I know that doesn't make it a good relationship. It wasn't even a zoo, it was a petting park. Because zoos make me sad. Do you know what I mean? Do zoos make anyone else sad? Yeah, zoos make you sad? Why do zoos make you sad? They're all locked up. Are you a vegetarian? No. Like, oh, they shouldn't be there. They should be here. I'm the exact same. We're hypocrites together. I'm not a vegetarian. But I get it. Zoos make you sad. Because you see like a majestic lion sitting there. And you're like, you should be out majestically roaming the plains of Africa. But you're just here in a cage, and that is sad. You've been brought over and put in this cage, and it is sad. I get less sad at petting parks. It's a goat. Like, what's a goat gonna do? If I take that goat to Africa, it's gonna get eaten majestically. Like, I just feel like zoos are the only place where you're allowed to be anti-immigration. Like, for the animals, you know, like, it's the only place where it's woke to walk in and go back to Africa. You don't belong here. You're stealing our jobs, not that one. But we were at this petting park, and we went to see the peacock, and it was doing the peacock thing, you know, giving it all that. And my girlfriend at the time was like, isn't it amazing what animals will do to attract each other? I was like, your eyebrows are drawn on. And your cheekbones are an optical illusion. Like, I don't know if you're better than that peacock, necessarily. Talking about the relationship stuff, there's a little love story in the play between George, our nice English soldier, and Maura, who's one of the Irish women in the play. It's a very interesting love story because Maura only speaks Irish and George only speaks English. So they fall in love in this incredible way where early in the play they just lock eyes and vibes. But they just connect and they know that they're supposed to be together. But it's very scandalous, the Irish and English thing at that time. So they have to scurry away and find private moments together to forge their relationship. And they have these incredible conversations where they're speaking to each other in languages that the other one doesn't understand. But as an audience, because the actors are speaking English, we know that they're saying the exact same thing. And their love kind of transcends language. It means more than language ever could. And there's one scene where they learn one word in each other's language, and that word is always. And they just say always, 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 backwards and forwards. And a lot of people say it's the best romance scene since Romeo and Juliet. To those people, I would say, what about when Rachel got off the plane? It's fucking always, always, always. Shut the fuck up. She got off the plane? You can't do that. Some people might recognize that little George and Maura love story. If there's any fans of Richard Curtis's Love Actually, you know the movie Love Actually? If you haven't seen it, I'll tell you what happens. A little round of applause for Love Actually there. You're going to hate this next bit. If you haven't seen it, I'll tell you what happens. And you can verify this. Colin Firth's in it. He plays this kind of bumbling English fella. What are the chances? And he falls in love with this Portuguese lady. And she only speaks Portuguese, and he only speaks English. So they fall in love in this incredible way where they just lock eyes and connect and know that they're supposed to be together. And there's this one scene where they fall into a lake, and they have this incredible conversation where they're speaking to each other in a language that the other one doesn't understand. But because of the subtitles, we as an audience know that they're saying the exact same thing. and their love kind of transcends language. Like, it means more than language ever could. It's amazing. How did Richard Curtis come up with that? He stole it from the... No one believes me, and it pisses me off. People are always like, how the fuck, what are you talking about? Richard Curtis wouldn't know some Irish play just because you know about some Irish play. He wouldn't know anyone involved in the play. He wouldn't know anyone in the original cast, like Liam Neeson, who's also in Love Actually. I'm trying to cancel Richard Curtis. Can we get on board? I've been getting audiences to tweet him after the show. But like cryptically, I've been getting people to tweet, "We know what you did." Just in case he admits to something way worse. Wouldn't that be so funny if we all tweeted Richard Curtis and we're like, "We know what you did." And he was like, "I've got Maddie, I'm sorry." I'm sorry. It's very scandalous in the play, the Irish and English relationship. Still a very scandalous thing today. Like, I've got a girlfriend, she's English, so I hate her. No, look, see, when she's there, I love her. I think she's the best person in the world. But when she's not there, the concept of her, I hate her. Because all couples have little arguments. A classic one is you took up more than half the bed. But I feel like an English-Irish relationship is the only one where she takes up more than half the bed and I call her a colonial bastard. She'll move back, but she'll take 6 pillows. It's very strange. But we moved in together recently. We moved in and we used to live with other people, but we recently moved in our own place, which is really nice. But we just moved around the corner. So we didn't get a van or anything. We just carried all of our stuff round the corner like some kind of weird Chuckle Brothers thing. Rest in peace, or whatever. Is that the line? I did an N-word joke earlier and you were like, ha 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 ha. But the Chuckle Brothers, enough of this offensive comedy. It's not even the Chuckle Brothers anymore, it's just the Chuckle guy. And he doesn't chuckle anymore. He hasn't been the same. But it was grand carrying all the stuff around the corner. Problem is, there's a homeless guy that lives on that corner. And you know you normally feel bad when you walk past a homeless person. Have you ever carried all your earthly possessions past a homeless person? I was there with an Xbox, like, sorry, I don't have any change, mate. I'm really sorry about that. He's like, why do you have 2 milk frothers? One for coffee, one for hot chocolate. Grow up. Since me and my English girlfriend moved in together, she keeps calling everything ours instead of mine and hers. I'm like, you've stolen enough from my people. It's getting out of hand. I was walking to work recently. I found £30 in cash on the street. I was like, this is the best day of my fucking life. So I phoned her up. I like sharing nice moments with my girlfriend. I was like, I found £30 on the street. She was like, that's amazing. We can go for dinner tonight. We? I'm moving to Mexico. Like, I don't know what you think's happening. But I come out quite late in the evenings to do gigs, so I get home quite late. So I don't have time to cook. So I'll just pick up chicken and chips on the way home. And I'll sit down in the kitchen to eat my chicken and chips. Problem is, she thinks everything's ours. She comes in, she's like, how was the gig? Just takes a chip. And have you heard of generational trauma? It's when something that happened to your ancestors affects you today. So when my English girlfriend steals potatoes from me, I freak out. She takes it, I'm like, it's happening again! You find out things about your partner when you move in together. It turns out she sleepwalks and sleep talks. So I think our whole relationship might be a lie. Like, we're gonna be in Wagamama one day and she's just gonna go, who are you? And it makes consent very tricky. It does. Anytime she leans in to kiss me, I have to grab her by the shoulders and be like, are you awake? That's not even the worst bit. Fairly regularly, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and she's wanking me off. But she's asleep as well. And that's a remarkable scenario because no one is consenting. So what do? I'm simultaneously being molested and molesting. Like, what do I do? And you're not supposed to wake up a sleepwalker, so I'm just in it for the long haul. Because guys have this romanticized idea of, oh, I'd love to be woken up to a hand job. It'd be so cool to be woken up to. It's different when you wake up and are inadvertently committing a sex crime. But I feel very lucky to have had my girlfriend around the past few years. It's been a very difficult few years to be a comedian. It was illegal. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do gigs. Couldn't earn money. I had to find different ways to earn money. Went back to teaching in schools. That's what I did before the pandemic. And before I started stand-up as well. But during the pandemic, the schools opened back up. I had to go in and you had to talk to the principal about the new protocols to keep everyone safe during the pandemic. Went in, the principal was like, okay, new rules. You're not allowed to touch the kids. I was like, I thought that was already a rule. I don't know what you guys have been doing, but I have not been touched. I could have been touching them this whole time. That's so annoying. But the schools were closed. I couldn't teach, couldn't earn money that way. Couldn't do gigs, couldn't earn money that way. I was broke. I was so broke during the pandemic that I started selling underwear online to make a bit of cash. My girlfriend came in, she's like, why are you selling my underwear online? I was like, listen, it's our underwear. A few people have come up to me at the end of the show on the tour and gone, so what is it? You just hate all English people? I'm like, listen, yes. We all do, globally. Everyone around the world hates English people. And I think that's beautiful. Because it fucks with English people's perception of themselves. Because in English people's own minds, they're like, we're the pinky finger people. We like to queue at the post office. Do you ever see English comedians, like posh ones, doing relatable comedy? They're just like, I did the most English thing the other day. I was very polite and apologized. Is that what you think people think about you? You're evil. You've done fucked up stuff for hundreds of years. Of course, everybody hates you. But to be fair, there's lots of countries that have done fucked up stuff. But we don't all hate them. But we do all hate England. There's loads of countries that have done fucked up stuff. Germany. I'll say it. Germany. But the difference with Germany is at the end of World War II, Germany kind of went, sorry, lads. We fucked up. Ich bin ein fucked up. And they admitted to all the bad things that the Nazi Party did. And they learned about the rise of the Nazi Party, so they know how to not let those things happen again. English people, they don't know so much about anything. But it's fun when you get to tell an English person something the British Empire did do. They're just like, I would have heard about that. It's interesting when you come from somewhere like Belfast, because the British Army never admitted to what they did and didn't do. When you come from somewhere like Belfast, rumours start about what they might have done. And I don't know if they're true, but some of them are fucking mad. I heard a rumour that during the Troubles, the British Army would pump microwave radiation into Catholic areas of Belfast to make the population unwell and weaken the resistance. I don't know if that's true. It's fucking mad if it is. I don't think it would work. You just have Belfast mums coming out going, give us another 30 seconds on that chicken chow mein. Do you want your food in the computer? We're moving into the third and final act of the play. Third and final act. No, that was too weird. In the third act of the play, our nice English soldier, George, he disappears. And so the head of the British Army, a guy called Lancey, arrives and he says, oh, where's George? And all the Irish people go, dunno, because snitches get stitches. And so what Lancey says is, okay, every day until he comes back, we're going to evict a family from a home and destroy their home. And if he never comes back, we'll just demolish the whole village. It's easier for us, then we don't have to rename it anyway. And at this point, the very posh theatre in London, all the English people kind of went, huh? That's not nice. That British Army officer in Ireland's not doing nice stuff. What are the chances? Whereas Irish people, when we watch that play, just get gradually more and more furious. Up until that point, we're like, I fucking knew they were going to do something like that. But I had a difficult time watching that play in London, not because of the story of the play. I know what happens. It's brilliant. If you ever get a chance to go and see it, please do. But the English audience had a very strange reaction to the play. In the first half, they were just laughing at stuff that wasn't funny. They were laughing at the Irish characters having a really hard time. I felt like they thought the Irish characters were stupid. That's why it was funny that they were having these problems. And they were always laughing at the Irish characters for not speaking English. They were never laughing at the English characters for not speaking Irish. And it was hard because it's a sad play. And I was sat in the theatre, like crying my eyes out, and the rest of the theatre was just laughing. 1,000 people laughing, and I'm there really, really upset. Because based on the conversation I had with my mum on day one of moving to London, I built up all these walls of English people don't think any of these things about you. It's an easier way to live your life to just walk about going, no, it's fine. But I was just proven wrong in that theatre in that moment. All these walls came crashing down. And I look back at stuff that I'd written off as a coincidence or pretended didn't exist, but I couldn't pretend anymore. I was an actor once in a play, and the director and I were talking about what accent my character should have. And the director said, word for word, could you do this in your own Irish accent? I think this character would be a bit more unrefined. All my Irish actors' friends that study at drama schools in London, they do these things called casting workshops, where a casting director comes in and talks to the class about what kind of roles they'll be going up for once they leave drama school and enter the profession. It's based on what you look like, act like, and sound like. All my Irish actors' friends, no matter what they look like, act like, or sound like, are told they're castable as teen mums, alcoholics, and maids. Because that's all we can be. I was on a train once in London. I was going to Bank Station. We were about 3 stops away. I was with my friend Jack. And Jack leans in and goes, we need to get off the next stop. I was like, no, we're going to Bank. What are you talking about? He leans in and goes, no, we need to get off the next stop. I was like, no, it's in 3 stops' time. What are you talking about? He goes, listen to me, we're getting off the next stop. So I got off. I was like, what was that about? He said, I overheard the guys in the seats behind say, when we get to Bank, we're going to kick the fuck out of that Paddy cunt. That was 3 years ago, so it exists, and I'm sick pretending it doesn't exist. Also, by the way, 40 minutes, sad bit, fucking nailed it. That's how you get nominated for an award. English people, I know I give you a hard time over the course of the show, but it's not your fault. I want you to know it's not your fault. I'm just saying it exists. It just exists in English subconscious. It's just how Irish people are presented in the media. Irish people were drawn as gorillas and monkeys in English newspapers until the 1980s. So it takes longer for that to leave your kind of collective understanding of what Irish people are. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying it exists. I don't expect you to care about it. That's the problem with these fringe shows. You've got all your own shit going on. People come to comedy shows with all your own problems in your own life. And then the comedians at the fringe are like, you have to care about my problems now as well, actually. You fucking don't. I don't expect you all to leave here and become Irish activists. Because that's not a thing. When it is, it's class. You get to wear balaclavas and all. It's so cool. But I can't even fight. I'm up here being like, I want to fight Irish stereotypes. It's really hard as a comedian. I'm just like, hey, whoa. Irish people aren't just here for a drink and a laugh. But you're not going to care about that. We've all got our own problems, and you can't expect people to care about your problems. I learned that during the pandemic. We all learned a lot of lessons during the pandemic. Mostly that banana bread doesn't cure depression. We all learned a lot of lessons because everyone was stressed about COVID. If you had a problem that wasn't COVID, no one cared. My jaw stopped working. I couldn't open or close my mouth for 3 months during the pandemic. But it wasn't COVID, so no one fucking cared. People were like, my granny died of coronavirus. I was like, well, I'm finding it quite difficult to eat my morning bagel, so we all have problems. I had to go to the doctor about my jaw, but you couldn't go into the doctor during the lockdowns, so you had to text them. On the Ask My GP app, we were texting our GPs. I was like, my jaw doesn't work, what's the fucking crack? Text back XOXO. She was like, lol. We went backward and forward about my symptoms. She was like, Vittorio, I think you need to cry more. I was like, do you have the wrong number? I cry like once a year. That's fucking loads, no? She's like, no, that's not loads. But what you've got is TMJ. That's what it's called. It's basically what happens when you haven't let yourself feel a feeling from the age of 12. It all builds up, and then your jaw stops working. I was like, fuck. How do you solve that? She goes, I think you need to apply for therapy on the NHS, which is basically like telling someone to apply to win the fucking lottery. There's no funding, there's no appointments, it's fucking terrible. But I wanted to eat my bagel, so I phoned up. I phoned up my local mental health service, and I don't know if anyone here has ever phoned up their local mental health service. It's interesting, the people on the other end of the phone, don't know if it's part of the job application or the interview process, all the people on the other end of the phone have a voice that makes you want to fucking kill yourself. I phoned up, I was like, I'm sad, my jaw doesn't work, send help. Hi there. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you in Zoom group therapy on the NHS. If there's ever a sentence that summed up the lack of mental health funding in this country, it's Zoom group therapy on the NHS. But I wanted to eat my bagel, so I signed into the call. I was nervous, my first Zoom group therapy call. It was me, 9 women, and the therapist, who was also a woman. I was like, nice. I logged in, tried to be brave, tried to tell the truth as much as I could so I could get as much help as I could. Finished the first session, come back the next week. It was me, 5 women, and the therapist. I was like, oh, maybe they were just busy. Sure, it's fine. Try to be brave, tell the truth as much as I could so I could get as much help as I could. Finished the session, come back the next week. It was me, 1 woman, and the therapist. If I just keep sharing horrific truths about myself, I'll get one-on-one therapy on the NHS. Just weed them out week after week. It's fucking genius. So I got a bit more time with the therapist than I thought I was going to get. I was like, what's going on? I'm very stressed. I'm very anxious. The therapist said, oh, Vittorio, I think you worry too much. I was like, do you have a degree? Because that's what I said. I know I worry too much. I'm fucking panicking Skywalker. Like, I know that I worry too much. She just parroted it back to me. It was so strange. It was like, my back home in Belfast, we've got this little dog called Cosmo. He's a little Cavachon, little fluffy thing. And he shakes every so often, and we didn't know why. So we took him to the vet, and paid the vet a bunch of money. We're like, what's going on? The vet said, oh, he's got a transient idiopathic tremor. What does that mean? He shakes every so often, and we don't know why. Are you a vet or a thesaurus? What? But I was very stressed and worried during the pandemic. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna catch COVID, I'm gonna give someone COVID, I'm gonna kill someone's granny. I was freaking out. The therapist was like, see, that's too much worrying. All you need to do is condense all your worrying into 20 minutes a day. Is that not a panic attack? 20 minutes of dense worry? That feels like a fucking panic attack. She was like, no, just sit down in your living room, set a timer for 20 minutes, and try and worry. I was like, don't you fucking worry about that. I'm worried. So I sat down in my living room, set a timer on my phone, 20 minutes, worry. Woo! Beep, 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 no more worrying. Still worrying, what's going on? Because you spiral. When you try to worry for 20 minutes, you go into this really terrible spiral. So you have to get techniques to get out of the spiral of worry. So they give you these grounding techniques. One of them is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's where you name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. It's really helpful if you ever get stressed or anxious. Take that with you. It really centers you, brings you back into the room. So I'm sat there freaking out in my living room. I was like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 things I can see. I can see the park, outside. I can see the TV, the Xbox, milk frother. Cool, 5 things I can see. 4 things I can touch. Easy, I can touch my jeans. I can touch my shirt. I don't have a lot of stuff. Cool, named 4 things I can touch. 3 things I can hear. I can hear the birds outside. I can hear my girlfriend being English in the other room. I can hear Kendrick Lamar's voicemails for some reason. Grand, 3 things I can hear. 2 things I can smell. Easy peasy. That's all right, we'll skip that one. Smelling's hard. We'll be all right. 1 thing I can taste, that'll be easy. Into the kitchen, open the fridge, grab some food. Fuck, I've got COVID. And then we're straight back into the spiral of worry again. Fucking terrible. I did get COVID. You know, I did get COVID. I feel like everybody got COVID, but it fucked me up. It fucked me up so much. I was so unwell. We'll do that again, and it was your fault. I did get COVID. Everyone got COVID, but it really fucked me up. I was so unwell, I genuinely had the thought, if I have a wank, I might die. Which, when you live with Inception hand job, is very stressful. I went to bed every night like, this is the last time I'm going to sleep. It's over for me. We're done. I was building a peace wall out of pillows. I was like, fucking stay away. I don't expect you to care about me and my mental health or my jaw. Like, my jaw's getting better. I just need to stretch it every so often. So if you see me after the show going like that, I am not on coke. It's so annoying. People always think I am. People endlessly come up to me in bars. They're like, oh, mate, are you selling pills? I'm like, no, I'm depressed. You can't care about my problems. You've got your own shit going on. I think human beings can only care about 3 things at a time. We spoke about it earlier. You just run out of steam. You can't care about everything. You get a thing called compassion fatigue. That's what it's called when you try to care about everything. You can care about 3 things. You can tweet about loads of stuff, but I think you can only care about 3 things maximum. Start of COVID, I was like, right, mask on, social distancing, do it for society, save your granny's life. I care about COVID. And then black people were like, excuse me, we're having a bit of a shit time. I was like, fuck, how do I solve it? What do I need to do? And then all the progressive white people got in a team huddle, and they kind of went, all right, this is a fucking serious problem. This is terrible stuff. We need to solve it. How do we solve it? Should we ask them? No, don't ask them. They're busy. I reckon we can solve it amongst ourselves. We're clever chaps. It's definitely a serious systemic issue that we need to kind of sort out together. Oh, thank you for bringing the biscuits, John. That's so nice. That's really nice. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, it's definitely a serious problem. We need a serious solution. Anyone got a serious solution? Oh, fucking that's brilliant. John, again, that's so good. Right, everyone agree? That's a brilliant... I think that'll solve everything. We don't need anything. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Okay, I'll tell them. Post a black square on Instagram. Felt easier than Martin Luther King made it out to be, didn't it? People were pulling down statues. I was going into gardens, kicking over gnomes. I was like, they might have owned slaves. They're old white guys. Fuck them. I finally let out my Eric Cantona. I was like, fuck them. It's like, cool, I care about COVID. I care about black people. And then women were like, excuse me, we're still being sexually harassed. I was like, I thought we'd solved that one. The second wave of Me Too, fucking me neither. I am a male comedian, and I know, like, a lot of male comedians went down in the second wave of Me Too. And the first wave of Me Too. We're not doing great. And to the point where I haven't done anything, but I started to get stressed. And to clarify, I haven't done anything. But you know when you're going through airport security and you don't have any drugs in your bag, but the guy at the gate just gives you a look, and you're like, fuck, I might. That's how male comedians feel right now. It's like, cool, I care about COVID, I care about black people, I care about women. Someone's like, oh, what about the war in Ukraine? Fuck Ukraine. It was a joke to the people that freaked out there. Do you need me to say it? I care about Ukraine. Did that do anything? You know I can say that, leave here and punch 11 refugees. Like, it doesn't make a difference what you say. I can say anything I want up here. It's all bullshit. I'm not even Irish. Like, it's just fucking nonsense. It's not about what you say. It's about what you do. That shows what you fucking care about. Of course I care about refugees. I used to work out in the camps in Athens with refugees. I used to work with refugees in London. I say I used to work with refugees because one of them called me fat. And now I don't work with refugees anymore. I was like, listen, I didn't get the cardio of rowing across the ocean like you did. And if you're upset by that joke, I work with refugees and you don't. And also that refugee was my grandmother, so fucking cool it, all right? You can't care about everything. That's the point. The play ends with the British cavalry coming over the hill to destroy the whole village. And the Irish characters are on stage and they just have to accept their fate. It's a terrible situation to be in. I'm not in that situation. I get a few negative comments, the odd stereotype, a couple dickheads on the train. But just like you, I've got all my own shit going on. I don't have time to worry about what English people might or might not think about me. I don't. I've got my own shit going on. But I want to be an activist. I want to, like, fight the stereotypes. But I think activists know that people don't care. Like Extinction Rebellion know. People don't care. That's why they superglue themselves to stuff. Because they know people do care about being able to drive anywhere, ever. So like, oh, if you want to drive there, you have to care about the sun. I don't know what they care about. That's what I do, just super glue myself to English people. Like, be nice to Irish people, please. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think I can be that kind of activist. But I want to be one. I think the kind of activist I want to be is, if anyone thinks I'm not capable of something, I just want to prove them wrong. I want to live my life as if no one's in my way and just prove these things wrong. I think it's the best kind of thing to be. So if you've got anything in this room where you think people might think negative things about you because of who you are or what you are, fuck those people. If you get negative comments like theatre's gay, fuck those people. Just live your life as if no one's in your way. But you need inspirations, you need heroes for this kind of stuff. I'm not going to be your hero, I'm a fucking idiot. But I have a hero. I have an inspiration for that kind of activism. Rosa Parks is my hero because she didn't sit down and try and start a petition or a revolution or any of that stuff. She just lived her life as if no one was in her way. And when someone tried to get in her way, she bold as brass, brave as anything, just looked them right in the eye and went, "Same seats on the way back." Liverpool, you've been fucking wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. You're brilliant. I've been Vincenzo Alabaluzzi. I'll see you later on. Thank you. Bye, bye, bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Did you enjoy that? Yeah. Absolutely superb audience, and we really appreciate you being here and laughing as loud as you did and clapping. You were genuinely brilliant there. I'll say that again because the mic wasn't on. You were a brilliant audience. Thank you for laughing in the right places, clapping in the right places, and listening in the right places. However, there's another show that starts at 10 o'clock, so fucking get out. Give a huge round of applause for Vittorio one more time. The doors are now open. Feel free to use the back room, but the bar is now shut for you guys. If you wouldn't mind leaving as quick as you possibly can so we can get the next lot of guys in. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Good night.